Graffiti has been discovered on a Nazi monument. Yes, a Nazi monument in a city outside Toronto in Canada. And police are investigating it as a hate crime. The details of this story are truly mind-blowing. Here from the Ottawa Citizen, graffiti on monument commemorating Nazi SS division being investigated as a hate crime by the police. Someone painted, quote, Nazi war monument, which is accurate, Nazi war monument on a stone cenotaph commemorating those who served with the 14th SS division. The monument is located in Oakville in the St. Volodymyr Ukrainian Cemetery. And just again, this is the monument here. The division, made up of Ukrainians who pledged allegiance to Hitler, was part of the Nazis' Waffen-SS organization. Some members of the division have been accused of killing Polish women and children, as well as Jews during the Second World War. And apparently, this counts as a hate crime. Because what? Because you are speaking out against a Nazi monument. Yeah, well, they're a protected class of people. I'm not even joking. That's what they say here. Let me get the actual quote. Here we go. In response to questions from this newspaper, Constable Steve Elms, spokesman for Halton Regional Police, cited a section of the criminal code that noted those communicating statements in any public place inciting hatred against any identifiable group could face imprisonment not exceeding 2 years. This incident occurred to a monument and the graffiti appeared to target an identifiable group. He explained in an email to questions about how a hate crime could be perpetrated against members of the SS. Now, let me actually poke a massive hole in his explanation here. You would expect an officer to understand the criminal code. Apparently he doesn't. So here is what he cites. He's citing here, who by communicating statements in any public place incites hatred against any identifiable group. Okay, so that's what he's citing, right? Well, maybe if he went down, scroll down a little more to the defenses section here. No person shall be convicted of an offense under subsection 2. A, if he establishes that the statements communicated were true. They're true. That is a Nazi monument. It is fact. It is fact. If you're offended by that, I'm sorry, but that is a Nazi war monument. That's what it is. It's not even saying like, hey, go to hell or kill all the Nazis. It's not even saying that. It's just stating the graffiti states Nazi war monument, which is fact. That is a true statement. So if the officer actually knew the criminal code, he would understand that this is not a hate crime. Now, I want to give you just a little more, in case you want to do, some more research after this and are wondering why the hell does this exist? Why is there a Nazi monument in Canada here? So, a couple of people for me to recommend to you. Rob Russo has a great podcast. He tweets out here, many are wondering why we have multiple Nazi monuments in this country. It's because we deliberately imported scores of fascists post World War II in order to disrupt any emerging collectivism in the Ukrainian diaspora. Dan Beckner broke this down for me last year. So if you check out his podcast, 49th Parallel, episode 30, you can also just check out Rob Rousseau on Twitter. You'll find his tweet. Check that out. You'll have a better understanding, because I haven't heard it yet, but I assume, as he says here, it breaks down why we have these, because I was shocked. I didn't know that these existed. It truly is, it's insane that we have a Nazi monument, and I guess multiple Nazi monuments, and we allow this, and then when somebody has graffiti on it, it counts as a hate crime. The whole story is completely insane. Also here, there's some great reporting, and also the initial article from Ottawa Citizen, I think it's Ottawa Citizen, yes, references Moss Robson. So Moss Robson has also great reporting on this as well. But here recently, and this is back in March, he had this story: how a network of Ukrainian ultra-nationalists penetrated Canada's Conservative Party to lobby for military conflict. So this apparently has been an ongoing thing. where I'm not going to get too into it here, but here, once an underground network of fascist ideologues shunned by the Ukrainian Canadian community for criminal ideas, Canada's ultra-nationalist Bandera lobby is today a major political player. It recently rubbed shoulders with former PM Stephen Harper and top contenders for the leadership of his Conservative Party. So this is a story I had no idea that any of this was going on. So you can, if you want to read more into it, I will link to this stuff below the video. Once I cut it out of this live stream, you will see that. But this is, there's no defending this. The fact that this exists, that this has been allowed to exist, in itself is completely insane. But then the idea that graffiti on that, calling it what it is, a Nazi war monument, that's a hate crime. I mean, it gets to just completely ridiculous levels.